Oh my God! Oh my God, RT checking in. What's up, YouTube? Today we're gonna go over, is it a good idea to buy an older Challenger? This one right here is a 2009, and I'm gonna go over some facts for you guys, interior, presence on the road, and just overall, is it a good idea to buy an older Challenger RT or an older Challenger SRT versus getting a brand new one, or one that's a little older, 2015 and up. This one right here happens to be a 2009. All right, let's go. If you buy this car, this Challenger RT, this one is a 2009, and you think that you're going to get out on the road with these SS Camaros and these 5.0 Mustangs and these Scat Packs running around in traffic, you're going to get your ass smoked. So if you think that this car right here, a Challenger RT, whether it's old or new, is going to help you fare in a 5.0 race, a SS Camaro, and some of these other muscle cars, you don't have anything coming unless you do modifications, and everyone knows you got to pay to play. Don't forget to add me on Snapchat, ball-ball1. If you haven't had a sports car before, this is a great car for you. It'll be improved sound, especially if you're coming from them Hondas. It'll be improved sound. It'll give you a nice deep growl. It'll be much faster when you're sitting in the cockpit. It's like you're driving a damn yacht, man. It's just a pure muscle car. So if you've never had a muscle car before, this is a great car to buy. The first thing I noticed about this car when I got it was the sound. It sounded amazing. I felt like a grown-ass man starting this car up, putting it in a gear, and pulling off. And this was before any modifications was done, period. I got the car from the dealership, and I was very, very impressed and pleased with the sound of this car. So if you, like I said, if you have a Honda or another little rinky-dink sports car, this will probably be an upgrade as far as sound goes. Dodge does a really good job with their exhaust systems and gives it a really throaty sound without you having to really do anything to the car. I just want to say one more time, if you think you're going to buy a Challenger RT, whether it's new or old, and you think you're going to get out into traffic with these SS Camaros and these 5.0s, you got another thing coming. They're going to toot the ass up and you're going to get smoked. I promise. But if your main objection is to not be the biggest and baddest thing on the road, then I highly advise that you get a Challenger RT, whether it's new or old. The car comes out the factory with 375 horsepower, and your average daily driver, like these two Mom Editions I got in my driveway, do not have that much power. So the car does have a nice amount of power. It's the fastest car I had ever had, you know, getting a sports car. I've had other little sports cars, but they weren't quite as fast as this one is. So yes, it's a big upgrade as far as sound and speed goes. If you haven't had any stellar sports cars, do not get in traffic trying to mess with no Hellcats. Do not get in traffic trying to mess with no SS Camaros. Tuck your tail like a scared little dog and get out the way. Now these pickup trucks and these V6s, Camaros, and V6 Challengers and Chargers, you're gonna manhandle them all day long. But those 5.0s and SSs and 6.4 Scat Packs, they're going to smoke you, I promise. I got headers, cold air intake, and a computer tune from Hemi Fever Tuning on the car, so I'm a little bit more confident in traffic with my chest out. But you know, a stock car, I wouldn't advise you trying to compete with any of these other cars, because it's not going to go well for you. And if you got your girl in the car, she's going to laugh at you. One thing I love about this car is when you're sitting in the driver's seat, it's very, very wide, especially looking out over the steering wheel onto this hood. It's like driving a damn yacht. So it gives you a very manly feel, a coupe-ish feel, like sitting in a coupe, and I love that about this car. So I will recommend this car to anyone that does not has not had a sports car, has not had over 300 horsepower, and is not trying to compete with some of these other muscle cars that's out on the road. Now when you buy an older Challenger RT, this is what your interior is going to look like. It doesn't give you an outdated feel like the car is ancient years old. We all know that all of the Challengers look alike. They changed the backlights and a couple other little things, but for the most part, a female or a guy that doesn't know too much about cars is not going to be able to identify the year that you have. Now, I will say the one thing that I do not like about the interior of the older Challengers is this goddamn goofy ass steering wheel. This steering wheel is goofy as hell, man. This is probably the only thing in the car that I do not like. Everything else I like. You got leather seats. There's no stitching on the seats. But the steering wheel is probably the only thing that I do not like. I love looking out over the hood onto this car. This thing is like a yacht, man. These have grown on me. At first, I didn't like these dashboard displays, but I really, really like it now for some odd reason. Here's the gear shifter in the older Challenger RT. It's got a slick look to it. It's got your navigation. Now, all of them do not come with navigation, and it's certainly not the 2015 up big screen navigation that they're putting in the cars now, but it's not bad, man. I enjoy this car. I don't feel like it's old when I'm driving it. It sounds great. So it's not that bad to stoop down and get a older Challenger RT. There's all types of things you can do to these Challenger RTs to get them over 400 horsepower, and I wouldn't say you have to spend a lot of money to get it there. I'd say about 2,500 bucks, and you can really wake this car up and be more on the lines of a 5.0 and SS Camaro. So I do recommend buying an older Challenger because, number one, they do not look much different than the newer ones. These girls out here, and we all know how much we love women, these girls out here, these guys that don't really know about cars will not be able to identify what year Challenger that you have. So in that regard, I do recommend getting an older Challenger RT. And the biggest reason why I recommend getting a Challenger RT is because they don't cost as much. You know, you go out and get you a new Scat Pack and you can have decent credit and you're spending $500 and $600 a month. Newsflash, I spend $385 and I got the same presence in traffic as these other guys with their newer Challengers have. Now, I went over the differences in the interior. It's not a big difference. You're not looking like you're driving a ancient vehicle. So with all that being said, I do recommend getting an older Challenger, especially if your credit is not that great. Not to be too personal, but when I got this Challenger, my credit score was a 513. I was able to drive this car off the lot with a 513 credit score and a $385 payment, which is not bad at all, especially if you have a family. I will say that my credit score is nowhere near a 513 right now. I got my life together, but I just wanted to motivate you guys who might not have the best credit in the world or can't afford a $500-600 a month payment on a car. You can do this. 513's credit score, $385 a month. Not spending a lot of money on a down payment, getting an older Challenger will leave you money to do modifications like headers and other things to get you up to speed with these SS Camaros and these 5.0s. So with that being said, I would highly recommend getting an older Challenger, man. I love this car. It's a great starter car too, like I said, for somebody who hasn't had a muscle car, somebody who doesn't have great credit and want to get a sexier car, a more manly car in traffic. So with all that being said, get you an older Challenger RT. I highly recommend it. Just don't think that you're gonna be some tough ass in traffic, because there'll always be somebody around to humble you. And please, please, please do not think about running up on no Hellcat, because it's not gonna be pretty. You're gonna get your ass smoked. You do not need a crazy credit score to get this car. 513, $385 a month, baby. This is a beautiful starter car when you're trying to get a muscle car and you don't have great credit. You don't want to spend $500-600 a month. Highly recommend a Challenger RT, man. This is a great car. I love it. I love starting it up. I love driving it every single day. And this is going to be a stepping stone for me. This car is going to help me get into something better one day. Maybe a Hellcat, maybe a Scat Pack when the time comes. But this was a beautiful starter car for me while I was rebuilding my credit and not making goo gobs of money. So I recommend this car to just about anyone. Just don't, remember what I said, be humble in traffic, man. You'll be able to manhandle 75-80% of the cars out there. It's just certain ones that I would advise you steer clear of. All right, oh my God, RT checking out. I'm out. Don't forget to add me on Snapchat, y'all. Ball-Ball1. Oh my God.